All right, everybody. Hello. I just wanted to cover a few quick things with your new interactive notebook. Our new unit here was cells. And of course, we had you do your root words. There's some new ones there that will come in very useful. Learn them, and you'll see them being used over and over again in the unit and moving forward in biology class. But kind of jumping ahead here to page 6, getting into an introduction of cells. One of the things that I always think is unfortunate is the misconception that cells are sort of this spherical single entity, right? Lacking differentiation, lacking characteristics, right? In fact, there are lots and lots of different types of cells, and they have lots and lots of different types of functions. In fact, in humans, we're made up of estimates of between 60 and 100 trillion cells as adults. And the interesting thing about that is that they're not just our cells. In fact, a large portion of our cells are other types of organisms, right? We're essentially an ecosystem for bacteria and fungi and other things. Now, to be fair, those things are very small compared to our own cells. Some estimates suggest that if we were to pull together all the bacteria that live in and on our bodies, it'd be about the size of our own fist or about the size of our own heart, maybe. So lots of cells, and we're going to learn as time goes on here that those cells have different jobs, right? Because they have different structures, right? They're shaped differently, they look differently, they also act differently, they do different things for us, including lots and lots of chemical reactions. So what are some questions you have? I hope you have some regarding cells, because it's a fascinating topic. Okay, biology loves to, all of science really, right? Unfortunately, sometimes I think it's a little bit too reductionist, right? We like to put things into categories and sort of put them into pigeonholes a little bit sometimes. But in other ways, it's useful, right? It's a useful way to kind of think about the world. Is the world really this divisible, into little parts? Maybe, maybe not. But again, there's some functionality here, some usefulness in looking at cells as part of a bigger system. So if you remember up to this point, right, we've talked about subatomic particles, protons, electrons, neutrons. We know those make up atoms, right, which in turn make up molecules and compounds, and in turn those make up macromolecules, right? In those macromolecules, right, the lipids and the carbohydrates and the proteins and the nucleic acids are what construct cells. So our cells are made of those things. Those in turn make up tissues, similar functioning cells that work together. Those tissues work together to make up organs. The organs make up organ systems, and ultimately us, right? An organism. You see the root word there, by the way, org, right? Living. Okay, what are a couple things you could have observed from those images? Well, both plants and animals are made of cells. In fact, everything that is living, we're going to learn, is made of cells, right? So we'll get into that when we get into the cell theory. And maybe you could get this out of it, but cells are the smallest of the living things, right? In fact, you could take one of your cells out, put it in a petri dish, and as long as it had nutrients and it had a way to remove waste, that cell could live independently of you, right? It would be capable of carrying out homeostasis, essentially living on its own. Okay, just a quick keying out here again. So which level of organization is identified with X here? Well, it's a group of cells, and it looks like they're probably near each other. Tissue. Which sequence represents the correct levels of organization? Well, you start with a cell, you move to a tissue, you move to organ system. And then finally, an organ system is a group of organs that work together in performing a major body function. So if you take a look here, right, you've got the stomach, the liver, the large intestine, and the small intestine, right, making up our digestive system. Okay, pretty quick today. That's it. You'll be moving on here with the rest of your interactive notebook, starting to learn about how to look at cells so that we can learn more about them, some of the theories around cells, and so obviously digging into cells. Okay, see you soon.